Okay, we've got another 2 over 3 episode. I've got Ugo with me. We've got 3 images from the same photographer. We've got a 5-minute clock, a 4-minute bell to tell us to get a wriggle on. Ugo hasn't seen any of these images, so I'm springing them on him. I get a great deal of pleasure out of watching him squirm and trying to find something useful to say. I must admit I haven't had much of a look at these images. I racked them and stacked them ready for Ugo to come over and do a recording session. Anyway, I'm going to start the clock and reveal them to Ugo now. And we've got 3 images by Yoshimoto 02 or Christian Beirle González. This first one, red seats and white seats. Okay, what do you think of this first one?
A very artistic stadium seat installer, I think, isn't it?
Well, I thought these ones would appeal to you.
Yeah, it do. I mean, and look,
Ugo's into architecture, abstract, more abstract.
Great perspective. I mean, it's a very abstract piece. It looks like some sort of theatre or stadium, and there's no discernible pattern in the red and white seating. So it draws your eye in. I think
that's one of the things. I'm just looking at it now while you're blabbering on there. That I found interesting was I looked at it. I was immediately taken by the colour. And this is certainly worth clicking over to Christian's stream on Flickr and viewing large.
Yes.
Because these certainly do have a presence when viewed large. This one, I was immediately taken by the pattern, the regular pattern of seats that comes across as horizontals, but also verticals.
Yes.
But you're right, the colours. Pattern. I'm trying to work out the pattern, and you certainly are drawn in as like a
puzzle of sorts.
Phase 2 of your appreciation of the image is trying to work out is there a pattern.
What's interesting is the legs of the seating, as obviously as you move forward into the photo, they sort of slowly disappearing, which sort of draws you in again. And if you look at it,
I hadn't seen that. Yeah, you're right.
And if you look at it long enough, actually, you start losing the perception that the actual seats, and they just become these coloured shapes. And it's quite it's a fascinating photo. The more you look at it, the more you sort of
the more I look at it, the more I just want to sit down. But I am already.
This is a great photo.
Great number 2, and number 2 is rising pillars. What do you think of this one?
This is a great perspective. Was Christian actually lying on the floor and taking this? So
it's funny because I've gone into buildings and we've all taken those straight up vertical shots, but this one with the 4 pillars, equal distance in each corner of the frame, the symmetry, the way that it kind of beautiful, it draws you into the frame, but the symmetry and the sense of grandeur that you get.
It does, exactly. That's the word for it, grandeur. It's just. It really you feel like you're being drawn along those pillars up to that great ceiling there with those interesting patterns there. But yeah, for me, it's all about being drawn and the flow into the photograph.
I also like the fact that if you search for detail, and we've got little widget things on the left and the right, and you look at them and you try to find detail that's going to contrast with the regular lines, shape, and the form and the symmetry of this. And you can't. Everything fits.
Yeah, and for me, this image is completely.
And I've just realised we've actually got writing on the walls on the side. It's probably Latin. Don't know.
It's all about being drawn in. This one, it's terrific.
I really like it. Once again, I should say it's definitely worth clicking over to Christian's stream and checking it out. But view large. They're really interesting images. Okay, and this third one is shaped into form. And what do you think of this one?
It takes a few moments just to get a bit of orientation here or perspective. So now we've got the stair from the bottom right taking curved up into that blue wall seal. I assume it's a ceiling. The patterns, you know what's great about this is that continuation of the stair up via the pattern created in that ceiling or wall,
the continuation of the stairs into
that pattern. It's just...
I do.
shot.
There's a couple of things that cause a little bit of tension for me. I guess there's that red fire extinguisher,
Yes,
and I guess you have to kind of look hard to see it. And also, I guess we see that it's in a building. It's the one real anchor into reality. Otherwise, it's very easy to abstract yourself and check this image out. I do like the colour palette as well.
Yeah, it is.
The blue's a pleasing blue.
But I find myself sort of turning my head trying to find an orientation that works for me here. So
I give it full marks because of the angle that he's actually composed this image, and a definite intent there, obviously, and it's to great effect.
Yeah,
it's just a really interesting image. Okay, we're over time, so let's go try to score them. The first one, all these chairs in a regular pattern.
It's an
what
image
do you
that
think of this?
gets more interesting as you look at it. This is 5 for me.
Yeah, 5 for me as well. I was going to say grandeur. Rising pillars. It just says grandeur
Again,
for me. What are you going to give that?
Familiar perspective, but this does something for me. It's about flow into the photograph. This is 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 for me. And what are you going to give the first one? Shaped into form. The third one, I should say. Shaped into form.
I'll give this 4. It's a terrific shot. It just takes me a little bit of time to orient myself for some reason.
Despite my vague displeasure with the red fire hydrant, I'm going to give it 5 only because I think my displeasure is more than compensated for by the interesting angle and composition and the intent of this image, which is certainly projected by. Okay, there you have it. 3 images by Yoshimoto 02, Christian Beirle González. Look, all I've got to say, Christian, and I will call you Christian, please forgive me, is thank you so much for sharing these 3 great images with us all on Flickr.